Welcome back, everybody, to Plants and Things. I am so happy to see you again. Thank you so much for coming back again and again to watch my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't already, please, I would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button and the like button if you're getting some value from my videos. It doesn't cost you a thing, but it really does help me, and I would really appreciate it. So today we are going to be talking about houseplants that are good for the winter. And this is going to be helpful, especially for beginners. If you're like me in the area or the country or the world where you get all 4 seasons, you're going to be, kind of concerned about your houseplants at this time. And if you watched my previous video where I talked about some tips and tricks for winter houseplants, you may be looking to get some new ones too at this time, especially if you are someone new getting into houseplants at this time. You don't have to be worried. Just because it's winter doesn't mean you can't buy houseplants. You still can buy houseplants even in the wintertime. So I'm going to tell you which ones you probably want to look at. There's tons and tons, but these are the few that I like, and I'm going to tell you why I like them. So the first one, with some of these plants I have, and some of them I don't have. So if I have them, I will definitely show you mine. If I don't have them, I will insert a picture here or somewhere to show you those plants so you know what to look for. Plants that are not so common, because there's so many plants that you hear all the time, that they are beautiful. I would never discredit those plants, whether it's like the ZZ plant, the snake plant. They're very common, easy to manage house plants, but they're just that, very common. And sometimes, you want something, for me at least, I was always looking for something a little more unique, something that I wasn't quite hearing talked about as much. So that's why I chose the plants that I chose. And so I hope that you like them. The first plant is going to be aloe vera. And I really like aloe vera because not only is it really nice how it grows out, it's a really thick, hardy plant, a type of succulent, which we'll get into also as another option. But it's going to be good for beginners because it basically can survive and doesn't require much at all. It's just, it'll be there through thick and thin. You won't have to worry about it. And you can use it at home. If you're like me, natural hair girl, you like aloe vera for your hair maybe, or for your skin, whatever. It has uses that's like one less thing you have to buy in the store, So, and I'm all about the deals. So, buy you a nice aloe vera plant, which I want to insert a picture, it's pretty common. It's very easy to find too. That's why it's another great option. Super easy to find, survives well in the winter. Because it doesn't need a lot of light. It's good with a lot of light, but it can survive and tolerate with medium light. And it can also tolerate less watering. So if you're new and you're forgetful with the watering, don't worry, aloe vera is for you. Because of those thick leaves, it holds a lot of water in there, and you'll be good. So that's the aloe vera plant. That is a good option for beginners. For the purpose of it requires minimal care, and it still will do well all throughout the winter. And I was just at the store. If you follow me on Instagram, I will insert my Instagram here. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I was at Lowe's earlier today. Today is November. I don't have my watch on. I don't know what day it is. But whatever day it is, it's the day after It's Black Friday. It's Black Friday. So I was at Home Depot. Tons of aloe everywhere. So easy to find. And they're really reasonable. They come in all sizes as well. Really great option. The next option is an orchid. Now, I personally was not sold on orchids. And it's only because we had one at my mom's house for I want to say almost 2 years, okay? We weren't paying attention to that thing. It wasn't getting water. And then it was just, but listen, it held on. It held on. It lasted through such neglect, unfortunately, by myself. And, my rest of my family, we weren't paying attention to it, but it lasted. And once we started to actually pay attention to it and watered it once a week, just, making sure that it's so easy too. That's why it's a really good option. But it also gave these beautiful, beautiful flowers. I'm going to insert a picture. It's at my mom's house. I saw it when it seemed like it was about to bloom. Mind you, we had this plant for I literally almost 2 years, never seen it bloom because we ignored it the whole time. And we finally just watered it like once a week. Nothing crazy, it's a small plant, but it's so beautiful now. And that's really nice for the winter because the winter's kind of drab depending on where you live. The winter's kind of drab, and it's not very colorful. The winter, you get your greens and your evergreens and your ferns and your pines and this, it's really green and brown in the wintertime. So to have that orchid bloom in the winter is just kind of like, it's so beautiful. You just have to see it. I hope I put the picture here because you have to see it. It's beautiful. So that to me is really good for really good for beginners in a sense that a lot of times, at least for me, when I started, you want to see something, you want to see progress. And if you're just starting in the winter time, that could be a little bit of you might think that it could be a setback because it's not really the growing season. However, there are plants like the orchid that blooms, I should say, in the wintertime. And it's really, really satisfying. So the orchid is number 2. The next recommendation that I have for winter plants is going to be cactus or cacti, any type of cacti. And that is great because in the wintertime, we like to crank that heat up so it gets hot and dry in our houses. Our skin is dry, the air is dry, everything is just dry in the wintertime. And that's not great for lots of plants. However, the cactus, as we know, thrives in the desert where it's hot and dry. So if you, like me, I have a windowsill where my heater is right below the windowsill. So you like to crank your heat up, but then it's right by the window. Like, that's just perfect for cactus, okay? The dry, hot, you don't have to worry about your humidity not being enough and getting a humidifier and this and that. Get you a cactus. And they have some really, again, I was in Lowe's. Follow me on Instagram because you'll see when I was shopping at Lowe's. Was I at Lowe's? Either Lowe's or Home Depot, one of them, same thing. The point is that plenty of cactus to buy right now. They're not even all just green. They have some red ones, some pink ones, some orange ones. They have some that are lively, that look really interesting. So I do like cactus a lot. They are smaller. They're on the smaller plant side. So if you're looking for something more full and larger, cactus may not be for you. However, if you have a nice little desk area, working from home, something like you just want to liven up your space a little bit, cactus is it. And you don't have to worry about it. Those things, because they're really thick, I don't know if you call it a stalk, whatever you want to, their leaf stalk area holds all the water. So it doesn't need to be watered often at all. So that is cactus. Really easy for beginners because it takes little to no work and they just look good, and you don't have to worry about humidity and all of that. You just sit it there and it'll be fine. It's fine. So yes, you should get you a cactus for the winter time. The next plant is the Clivia. I hope I said that right. Clivia. I don't have one, but when I was doing my research, again, I'm just thinking about if it were me coming into the plant world in the wintertime, you want to see growth. You want to see, if you like flowering plants, like you want to see something. And the Clivia is beautiful. It blooms again in the wintertime like the orchid, so you're going to have something to see and watch it grow, and it still, gives you some satisfaction. So I love that about the Clivia. I need to make sure I'm saying that name right. But that is really good for that purpose. Also, it actually really likes cooler temperatures. That's when it blooms the best, in cooler temperatures. It doesn't mean that you want to put it outside in the winter time. It just means that if your only area that you have is next to your window where it might be a little drafty, that's okay. The Clivia will do well in that area. It doesn't mind being a little cool. It doesn't need a whole lot of water. All of these plants that I'm listing, they like to dry out a little bit. So, You don't want to be overwatering it, which sometimes as a new plant person, it could be a little hard. So like, does my plant needs to be watered? And in the wintertime, listen, if you think your plant needs to be watered, it probably doesn't. It probably doesn't. It probably doesn't. Give it another week and then water it in the wintertime. So yeah, if it's only been a week, your plant probably doesn't need to be watered in the wintertime. So these are one of those plants. You know, it doesn't need a lot of water. The temperature, you don't have to worry about where it's at with the temperature because it can handle the cooler temperatures, and it gives you flowers in the wintertime when it's so drab and not very colorful. So the Clivia is my next recommendation. I think that's number 4. Was that number 4? Yes, that was number 4. And number 5, my personal favorite, Succulent, which I do have some to show you because I'm not obsessed with succulents, but I do really like them because they're just there's so many of them, and they just all look so different. So I have a few here. If you've seen my first video, you've seen this one here where she wasn't doing much of anything, and literally only until now, this past month, November, close to the winter time, it grew this whole shoot here. And so I don't know what the variation of this succulent is. I don't know what any of these variations are called, but they're succulents. You'll recognize them from their thick, plump leaves. And again, that's what's really good. That's what makes these really, really good for winter, is that they have these thick leaves that hold a lot of water. So I just love them for that. And they're small, they're so inexpensive, but they're still going to show you growth, especially in the winter time. And they don't need a lot. They really don't need a lot. They most likely for succulents will continue to grow in the wintertime, unlike a lot of plants that will just go dormant. Of course, there are succulents that go dormant like other plants and don't continue to grow. But this is prime example of this one clearly growing. Just listen to your plant. If it's growing, then water it. If it's dormant, only water it if the soil is dry. This one I will probably water soon since she's growing and the soil is quite dry. But these I just got. Love these. And they're so expensive. I think this Aldi, my favorite store. If you don't know me, now you know. Aldi and me, favorite store. I think I paid $5 for this. Same thing, I think Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't know what's going on here, but I think it'll be okay. And same thing, like $4 or $5. And this was gifted to me, so she was free 99. Now I have a bonus. I'm going to show you this bonus that is not, I didn't really find it in my research as good for winter. However, with the rule of thumb that I'm thinking, this is my hypothesis. The rule of thumb that I'm thinking with the thick, hardy leaves that are good, that are good at holding water and don't need a whole lot of sunlight, because that's the major thing. Plants, of course, they always need sunlight, but if they are low light or medium light tolerant, and you have a decent window, whether it's a south facing or east facing window where you get a good amount of morning light or all day light, you can get away with, pretty much any house plant that has those thick leaves that are going to really hold water well and that are not so temperature sensitive. So I have a bonus. Give me 1 second. It is going to be this beauty, the lipstick plant. Now she, again, like a succulent, has these thick, super thick, okay, she clearly needs to be watered because she's a little crunchy. I just got her. But yeah, when I talked to the lady at the garden store, she was saying that, yeah, it doesn't need a whole lot of water. It likes to dry out. It was outside. I mean, it was in a greenhouse, but it was in an outside greenhouse, and it wasn't that warm in there. So she's beautiful. And I said, you know what? I think this will be good for the winter as well, and it flowers all year around. So it just needs to have enough light. If it has enough light, adequate light, it will flower. So it hasn't, I just got it, so obviously it's not flowered, but I'm looking forward to getting this to flower, you know. So yeah, this is a bonus, the lipstick plant. And if I say the name, I'm not gonna try it. I'm just gonna insert the actual name. It's like no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna try it. So yes, bonus lipstick plant. Pretty much any plant that has, you know, nice thick leaves that can hold water. Excuse me. Oh my God. Wow. Pretty much any plant that has these nice thick, almost succulent like leaves are going to be really good at holding water, and usually they can deal well with medium to low light. And yeah, there's plenty of options for winter plants. Don't be worried if you're a beginner just getting into plants and you're like, oh, I have to wait until the spring to buy my first houseplant. You don't have to wait. There's so many options. You don't have to wait. So thank you so much for joining me again here at Plants and Things on my plant love journey. I hope that you have found some plants that you may like. Another plant, like I don't have it, but it just came to my mind that I was looking and it kept coming up in my research, the cast iron plant. I couldn't find it in a store. But that doesn't mean, I did see it online. And guys, shh. That is another excellent option. So that's like what, number 7. I just gave you another bonus. I couldn't find it myself. I'll insert a picture here to see if that's a plant that you like. I love large leaf plants, and I really wanted this plant. I just couldn't. I couldn't find it in the store. But I did find it everywhere online. It's really easy to get online. I think about $20, $25 to get a decent medium-sized plant. But yeah, I love large leaf plants. So that was a really beautiful plant to me, and it was really from my research, is really good because again it has these thick hardy leaves that, you know, they just are kind of really resilient to colder temperatures, less watering, not as much sunlight, all the conditions that we're going to have this winter. The cast iron plant was pretty hardy and strong enough to deal with those conditions. So that's another option that I didn't really hear talked about as much, but I do think is a really good option. I just wasn't able to find one myself. So yeah, the cast iron plant as well. It's another bonus plus bonus right there for you. But yes, thank you again for joining me here. I really hope that you enjoyed it, that you found it interesting or helpful, or let me know in the comments below if there's any plants here that you already have that you're interested in looking for. If there's any plants that you're interested in purchasing, let me know in the comments below. If there's something that I didn't mention that you thought was interesting, please feel free to mention it in the comments. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing you guys' suggestions on what plants would be good for this winter. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again. Bye.